So I just got home from Downton Abbey, the grand finale, the finale to the Downton Abbey franchise, at least for now. That's what they're saying, but we thought that before. Maybe one day they'll bring it back. But yeah, going into this film, I was really excited. I'm a huge fan of the Downton Abbey franchise. Every time I tell somebody that, though, they seem to not want to believe it. I guess I just don't look like somebody that would really be into Downton Abbey, but you know, kudos to my mom who got me into this show. And I've always been a fan of British television, and for me, this is easily one of the best British shows I've ever seen. But yeah, going into this, you know, calling it the grand finale after the TV show already had a finale and then you brought it back for films, I could say my expectations were a little high, but ultimately, when it comes down to filmmaking, this is an incredibly well-made film, the same as the rest of this franchise has been. Great cinematography, the locations add this lush feel to everything. It's beautiful to look at. The tone and everything about the characters, the wit, the banter, the silly moments, the heartfelt moments, the dramatic moments, all of that just gives you a sense of warmth. It's a touching ending to the franchise in a lot of ways. It's a nice send-off that definitely made me excited to want to revisit these characters somewhere down the line. It had the music that you want to hear, and it had that great, charming Julian Fellowes writing that I think just is what makes the franchise what it is. And with all that said, ultimately, I found the grand finale to be a good, fun, touching send-off to the franchise. With that said, though, I do think there were a couple of things that bothered me, and mainly when it comes down to how some of the story was handled. A lot of it has to deal with things like financial strain that the family's going through, or some sort of scandal, or some sort of new love interest that's introduced in here for Lady Mary. And if you are familiar with this franchise, all of those things are going to sound incredibly familiar because the 6 seasons of television covered that many a times, and the 2 films they've already done have covered those kind of things many a times as well. So there was an element about it that felt samey to things we've seen in the franchise before. I was hoping that this final film would more really focus on all of the characters that we've spent time with over the course of this series. And while everybody that is a main player in the show does come back in this show to some degree, or in this film, to have some sort of like nice touching moment or nice send off, or just have their moment in general, I do wish that they had spent more time with those characters and kind of subtracted some of the side characters that are in there just for the drama. And I just feel like there was a couple of elements that just felt like they took away from spending more time with the characters I wanted to see more of. That could be his personal expectation thing, though, because at the end of the day, when I walked out of the film, I found it to be very well made, very well acted, charming, fun, and more than anything, a warm film that's a touching send-off to a great series. I have a full review over on YouTube if you guys are interested in a little bit more details. But yeah, are you guys planning on checking this one out?